I know y'all remember all those games, Skylanders, Lego Dimensions, and my personal favorite, Disney Infinity. All the games that made the toy to life genre what it is today. Well, what it used to be. Right now, the genre seems kinda dead. I'm not gonna lie, it seems kinda dead. I haven't seen any new like toy to life games or any ones that have been good. Let's just say that. Well, I'm not gonna lie, there was this one new game called Starlink that came out on the Nintendo Switch. Well, it's not new, it came out in 2018, but it was a pretty good game, I ain't finna lie. People said it was a good game. And if you don't really know any of these games, or like you don't know about the genre, don't worry, I'm gonna explain it in a minute. But in the video, we're gonna like look into the history of the Toys to Life genre, kind of figure out why did they stop making these kind of games. Now the answer may seem obvious, but it's an underlying fact to why all this happened. Now without further ado, let's get to the video. And you know we gotta start with the grandpappy Skylanders to begin the video. Now I know most of y'all think that Skylanders was the first Toys to Life game that to ever do it, but actually,
it's fiction. It's fiction.
The first ever Toy to Life game was surprisingly a game called UB Funkies. This game was made by a company called Matilla Inc. It was created in 2007 and discontinued in 2010. They have 45 of the different species, quote unquote. They had normal, they had rare, they had very rare. And now each of these figures, they had a UBS. Every figure had a USB that you could just plug into your computer. It would come to life in the game. This was like the OG of the game to life genre. And then right after this, Skylanders dropped their masterpiece of a game. Skylanders was like a big game. And one reason why it was that big of a game is because they had this character named Spyro. And as y'all know, they made many games about him in the past. He had his own game line. So I feel like that right there kind of drew people into Skylanders. But when this game came out, oh my god, this game was like the hot topic on the block. Everybody wanted something. This is like that thotty that everybody wants. And over the years, and with each game, they added different stuff. When the second game came out, then the year before that, all these are annual releases. They made Skylanders Giants. Now this game basically just added giants, and they still added more characters, you know, to the roster, but the main gimmick of this game was just big giants that hit harder, move a big rock, move whatever, get into a certain area. So you know, that's what they did, giants. But then next year, it was swapped first. Now this was honestly my favorite year of Skylanders. It was only like certain characters you could do this with, but you could like switch like their tops and bottoms. So it's a video right now on the screen demonstrating what they do. You just switch the top and bottom, and then you would get like half their abilities. And then when the fourth year came out, Trap Team. Now Trap Team was actually a very interesting year. After you defeated like a boss or like mini boss or whatever, you could trap them if you had their crystal. So what you do is beat somebody, trap them in the crystal, then you could use it anytime you wanted to during the game. Now this idea was honestly one of their most creative ideas. Well, actually no, not creative, but it was one of their like best ideas. But after Trap Team, no one wanted to play Skylanders anymore. Every other game after Trap Team sold horrible. Like it sold terrible, and I see why, because it was the same damn game. But nah, because after this, I ain't feel like the ideas got really bad. Because next we have Supercharged. Superchargers, I am not gonna lie to you, I didn't even play that. After that, Skylanders were kind of taking a detour, because that whole car thing was kind of weird. I don't know. The Donkey Kong car was cool though, I ain't gonna lie. But I ain't gonna lie, I can make the Donkey Kong car look even better. Now look, hear me out, right? We have Donkey Kong, right? And we have a banana boat. Come on, talk to me. Can I please get my applause? Thank you. Donkey Kong on a banana boat would be great. You know what? They probably didn't do that because, you know, black people are like apes. Primates. And after that game, it's two games that I didn't even know about until doing the research about the video. So first we got Skylanders Battle Cast, which was a trash-ass mobile card game. That shit didn't pan out. But then the last game that they released before they got discontinued was Skylander Imaginators. And the gimmick with that game was you would like buy crystals that had like certain elements. So like one could be fire, water, ghost, and you could create your own character based on that element, which honestly, in hindsight, that's pretty cool. But at that point, Skylanders was already getting dead, and people were tired of the Toys to Life thing. Well, they were really tired of Toys to Life with Skylanders, because it was damn near the same game. Now, back in 2013, when, you know, Skylanders was like really popping off, two very popular companies tried to dabble in the Toy to Life genre, and the first one was Disney with Disney Infinity, and Nintendo with Amiibo. Disney saw the success that the Toy to Life genre was bringing in. They said, "Let me in!" So then in 2013, they finally let them in with Disney Infinity, the brand new Toys to Life game on the market. Now, Disney Infinity was actually really different compared to Skylanders. Pretty much the only Toys to Life game that was like out at that time, or the only good one at that time. So they have 5 universes. They had Monster Inc. universe, they had a Pirates of the Caribbean universe, they had the Incredibles universe, then they added Cars, Toy Story, oh wait, and they had 6, because they also had the Lone Ranger one. The Lone Ranger one was the best one out of all of them. I don't care what y'all want to say. The Lone Ranger, that was fire. But the only thing is, not every character could play in each universe. So let's just say if I'm playing in the Monster Inc. universe, I can't use Mr. Incredible. This way of doing it, I loved way more. We're comparing it to Skylanders. So then Disney Infinity, they had like 6 main places where like you could like go in, you could explore the places that I named. But also something completely different that no game has really ever done, and I'm saying this right now. Disney Infinity was the creator of creative. Fortnite did not get that title. For creative, it was Disney Infinity. Disney Infinity walked so Fortnite can fucking run. But besides that point, what was different about Disney Infinity is they had something called a toy box. In the toy box, you could create mini games, fighting mini games. You could just create like cool things to look at. They had like princesses, towers, and all this other stuff. Honestly, it was so cool when you were like younger. It was so much fun, and you could also go online and look at other people's games that they posted. But what they also did was they also added characters specifically for the toy box area, because you know, like they wanted to release things like the Frozen Sisters, Mickey Mouse, Wreck-It Ralph, Vanellope, and they had so many Pixar characters that just made the toy box so much more fun. They also had these things called power discs. In the power discs, they had hexagon ones and also had circular ones. Now the hexagon ones, you could only use them in the toy box, but they were still very valuable. They had the vehicle ones, they had the theme ones, and they also had like the weapon ones. Now the themes, it basically changed the ground and the sky. So they had themes like Wreck-It Ralph, Frozen, Amiibo. They had a lot of things that basically made your toy box look unique and look cool. Now for the vehicle and weapon one, you just put the power disc on the portal and then it would just import into your toy box. And the weapons and vehicles, they had Buzz Lightyear's jetpack. They had like the Toy Story, the famous ball that they always have. They had so many vehicles and weapons.
Because I know what you're talking about. That shit just pissed me off. I'm like, why did I know what he's talking about?
But they also had the circular power disc. And the circular power disc gave them like an ability. And I know if y'all played these games, y'all knew what the method was. Go into Toys R Us, right? And you would kind of like have to like feel on like the pack. You could kind of get like a rough idea of like if it's a hexagon or a circle. But also if you like scratched it enough, you could tell which ones were rare and which ones were not. Ones that were not rare, they just had a plastic picture in them. But the ones that were rare, they had 3D kind of picture, and you could like tell by scratching it, and then you would steal it, of course, because come on, $5? No, I'm stealing it. Altogether, Disney Infinity, the first one, had 36 playable characters. And that includes the pieces of shit. Cause my god, what the fuck is that? All the Disney Infinity games, they were always backward compatible. If I wanted to play with Sully from Disney Infinity 1 and play him in Disney Infinity 2, I could. Another year later, we got Disney Infinity 2.0. Instead of focusing on the Pixar brand, they focused on the Marvel brand. Disney Infinity 2.0, they had 3 main playsets. They had the Guardians of the Galaxy playset, Spider-Man Unlimited playset, and they also had the Avengers playset. Now, this was a little bit disappointing because they had the whole Marvel studio and they only did like 3 playsets. Like, we could have got some more playsets, in my opinion. But it was still cool when the time came out. You could play as your favorite superhero, whatever, and that was cool. But then what they also did was they also like released this like this toy box starter pack where you would get Brave from the movie Brave, the redhead girl, and you also get Stitch, and you can just play with the toy box. So when the game came out, they had 2 versions. They had the one where they had Iron Man, Black Widow, and Thor, and they had the Avengers playset. But if you didn't want to play the Avengers playset, all you had to do was just get the other one with Lilo and Stitch and Brave. But if you was a real nigga, you would have got both of them. I don't know why I lie like that. I only bought one of them. But also how they did in Disney Infinity 1, they also released toy box exclusive characters. And I feel like they had some heat this time around. They came with Aladdin, Baymax, Donald Duck, Hero, Jasmine. I mean, so I mean, it was like the second game wasn't that much different than the first game, in my opinion. Even though they did have some heat with their Pixar characters, I'm not gonna lie. The first Disney Infinity and the second one, they were kind of like the same game, to be honest. The only difference was that they implemented a skill tree, which was kind of but they did change the disc system a little bit. Like, they made it so where you could like team up with like some like characters. But other than that, the game really didn't do a lot to change. But it was still a really good game. But then Disney Infinity 3.0 came out. And with Disney Infinity 3.0, they changed a lot. First off, to begin, their focus switched from Marvel to another Disney IP, Star Wars. So they had Star Wars Rebels, they had a Star Wars Force Awakens set, and then they had Twilight of the Republic and Rise Against the Empire. But also what they did was they had this thing called Marvel Battleground, and that was kind of like a playset on its own. That playset, you could pretty much take any Marvel character you wanted to and go head to head. It was that simple. It was fun to go up against like a friend or two, but you couldn't really do anything like that crazy because the combat in all the Disney Infinity games, it was very simple. It was made for a kid. If I had an overpowered character, I'm just going to press the same button and I'm going to win. So the Marvel Battlegrounds, it was fun for a little while, but it kind of like died out. But also, they also had released some Pixar playsets. Inside Out 1, and they have Find Door. Now, these two were more like, they weren't like complete sets. They weren't like super open world like the Star Wars ones were. And like, they weren't like fully fleshed out like that. But they were still fun. They had a lot of characters in it. They had a lot of things to do. And it was like a fun time. And then for the Marvel Battlegrounds playset I'm talking about, they released stuff like the Hulkbuster Iron Man suit. They had Ultron, Black Suit Spider-Man, Ant-Man, Vision, Black Panther. But they also had characters that will only be able to use in the toy box. Like classic Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, Mulan, Olaf. Now to be completely honest, I still don't know to this day why Disney Infinity stopped making them after the third one instead of the second one. Because during the third one, they gave us so many figures that we could collect. Like, they even gave us like the people from fucking Tron. Like, who would have thought of that? They gave us so much content, but sadly, they discontinued the game in 2016. So this video is going to be split into two parts. So right now, I'm about to talk about what went wrong with Skylanders and Disney Infinity. So now with Skylanders and Disney Infinity, both of them seemed like they were doing really well, but they just all of a sudden just like stopped making games. Now the reason why Skylanders shut down and the reason why Disney Infinity shut down or they got discontinued is two different reasons. Now the reason why Skylanders shut down was because number one, nobody was really hype anymore for those games. It was no really like main face of the Skylanders. Of course, you always had Spyro. It was no reason for like people to like get that game just to play a character. Let's take Disney Infinity for example. People wanted to play Star Wars. People knew what was Star Wars. People wanted to play as them. People knew who the Incredibles were. They wanted to play as the Incredibles. Skylanders just didn't have that kind of effect. And also, it was really expensive to make those games, and they weren't making enough money to, I guess, continue making those games, so they just had to discontinue it. And that's pretty much the same sentiment for Disney Infinity. But Disney Infinity, people really like Disney Infinity. Like, people would still be playing Disney Infinity, but they just discontinued it because it didn't make them enough money. But another like big reason why that both of those games had to get discontinued is simply because people grew up. Their fan base grew up, and they really couldn't market to like the next generation. I feel like how Amiibo did. I'm gonna be so transparent with y'all. After Skylanders Swap Force, I did not buy another Skylanders game. I am not finna lie. And after Disney Infinity 2.0, I did not buy Disney Infinity 3.0. At that time, when they introduced these games, I was a teenager, and like I was like, you know, like getting like away from like the gaming stuff like that, and you know, doing like drugs. I am kidding. Do not do drugs. When you are a teen, do not do drugs. Unless you want to. No. But their fan base was growing up, and they just couldn't keep their audience engaged. So the sales declined. People weren't really buying the game as much, even though they still made a pretty good amount of money. But they just had to shut down. Now these two games were kind of like the pioneer of the Toys to Life genre. But there were still some games that would help that genre grow into what it is. Well, what it was in the past. So this video kind of getting a little bit too lengthy. So in the next video, I'm gonna go more in depth about the Toy to Life genre, and we're gonna finally see why did the Toy to Life genre really end. But hey, it's been my DMB Dan. Let me know if you think Toy to Life genre should come back, or Disney Infinity or Skylanders should come back. But hey, being boy DMB Dan, catch the video. Peace out. Blah.